So sometimes the plan doesn't go as planned. The market shifts, interest cools, offers don't come, applications don't come, but it doesn't mean you're stuck. Sometimes it means we just need to pivot. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about what happens when you're not selling or your cash flow is not really cash flowing, and what are some of the things we do. I think a lot of times the first thing to start with is what's the problem, maybe? What are we looking at?
Most of the time for us, it's price.
Price.
I know y'all, it's probably the same for y'all too.
Yes.
But,
price is,
yeah.
Well, price, presentation, or promotion. Presentation can be solved by price and promotion can be solved by price. Sometimes you can't promote it without adjusting the price.
Right.
It really comes. We're always told it's like location, condition, or price. Well, location solved by price and condition solved by price. It always comes down to price. So, but sometimes like we'll do our best, do the comps, everything looks great, put it out there to market. We're not fortune tellers. Like buyer response or tenant response is very hit and miss sometimes. Something can happen overnight that we don't know is going to happen. Interest rates could go up, a bad news headline comes out, someone gets laid off. Like we can't control that part.
Right.
So we always talk to our sellers and say, we put it on the market and we're looking for one of three responses. Either we get offers and showings right off the bat, which doesn't mean we undersold it. It means we did what we needed. We might get some showings but no offers, or we get nothing. And based on each of those responses, we have a whole plan of what we do next strategically. Is that kind of similar with you guys?
We do the same thing.
Yeah.
We have, number one, with how many inquiries have we had? And that's just either I'm getting an email asking questions or they're trying to phone calls, whatever. We log everything. And then we have realtor showings and self showings. So I can log all those. So when I'm presenting to the owner, okay, we've been here a month. We haven't adjusted the price. I do a new market analysis, look at the competition, what's sold in the last 6 months and what's new over this time. And sometimes you got some of the places, the neighborhoods have increased quite a bit. You may have 5 or 6 new houses on the market since you did your first analysis. And so now all of a sudden it got competitive, and you'll see in the numbers don't lie.
Yep.
That they go down. And we usually base everything off dollars per square foot, and that kind of gives us a good starting point on trying to figure out where the price point would be. And you're looking at that. You're looking at the days on the market, how many properties are active, and how long have they been on the market? How long have you been on the market? I mean, you got to adjust all those.
Yes.
So those are all the things we're always looking at.
We do a Monday seller report for our sellers that sit on market, and we do very similar. I pull all the comps that are currently active and then notate what has changed in the last week. And based on what has changed, sometimes we'll say, maybe let's hold one more week before we make an adjustment because no one else has adjusted. Everyone's holding the same holding pattern. But once I start to see other adjustments being made, it's like we have to catch up with that or we're going to be way behind.
Behind the 8 ball.
Yes. So we use the data every single week. And I think that is such an important thing to give yourself perspective of where you're at, because otherwise it just feels like it's forever. We haven't had anything happen forever, and it's like it's only been 3 weeks. The average days on market is 90 days here. We're still doing okay. Would we like to see more activity? Yes, but you don't want to also give away the house. So let's hold for a second. But you let the data help make the decision, right? So then, okay, we're looking at feedback as well. If they are showing or not showing, that's usually a really good indicator for us. If we keep getting feedback about condition, or we get feedback about a floor plan or the location in the neighborhood, usually that means they don't see the value for the price at that point. And you can't fix the floor plan.
Important.
It is very important. Yes. You can maybe fix condition, but sometimes it's not worth the seller to invest more into the property. They'd rather just do a price adjustment instead. It just comes, where's the line at for some buyers? Looking at, okay, how do we do the reset? Like what's the next steps for the reset, and how do you talk about it? Like I've had some where we've had to re-photograph the exterior of the home because the seasons have changed. And maybe we took the initial photos when there were no leaves on the trees, and now there's leaves on the trees. We need to redo the exterior photos so we don't look as old as we are.
Right.
So relisting and withdrawing from the MLS and relisting, do you guys ever do that with yours? Is that ever necessary?
We do that, we've done it once or twice. You got to pull it off the market for like
31 days.
30 days to restart the clock on the days of the market.
But it doesn't hide your cumulative. Like most people don't know that. There's days on market and cumulative days on market. And the cumulative clock keeps ticking. And savvy agents know to look at that. But the Zillows and realtors and all that, they only report the current days on market. So they're always like, oh, it's a new on market. And then their listing pulls it up, or the agent pulls it over like, it's been on for 317 days. So they're going to find your dirt one way or the other. But at least you got new eyeballs on it for sure and can start a new conversation. Retarget marketing. So a new audience retarget. So we have to do a lot of like ads and social media towards certain markets of buyer pools, whether they might have, relocating to the area or they're upsizing, downsizing. So we try to change our language to fit that in our MLS descriptions. We'll change that up. Have you ever had to do?
We do some of that. We post like on Facebook. We don't do Craigslist, but we do Facebook.
Do you do Marketplace? Is that what you're talking about? Facebook Marketplace? Okay.
We don't. We tried it for one property and we got so many scams.
So many scams.
Bad. So
we find our own properties on there sometimes listed as, and we have a system that alerts us, which is great for our sellers to say, hey, someone's taking our listing and putting it as.
I've had a couple do that with ours too.
It's insane to me.
Yep.
When life hits hard, late payments, medical bills, job loss, or even the need to move quickly, many homeowners feel trapped. The fastest way out seems to be selling to a cash investor, but that means giving your home away for pennies on the dollar. You don't have to do that. Nearly half of homeowners today are equity rich, and that value belongs to you. With our One Move program, you can unlock that equity immediately, get cash in hand now, and still share in the upside when your home resells. Or, if you'd rather, we'll shop your property to multiple cash buyers so you can choose the best offer instead of settling for one low bid. Go to DunnDealOffers.com and discover the smarter way to get cash fast without losing the equity you've worked so hard to build.
Hello, my name is Greg Batchelor with Real Property Management, and I'm here to talk to you about your rental property. Choosing a property management company can be challenging, and here's why. On the outside, it appears everyone is providing the same services, which makes it difficult to narrow down which companies you'll actually call. Interviewing companies over the phone and in person takes hours, as does following up on references, pouring through lengthy contracts and legal documents, and getting answers to your follow-up questions. As you can see, this process can be daunting and time-consuming. So here's a few questions you might consider if you're planning on interviewing other management companies. Number one, what fees are charged to lease and manage your home, and are there any hidden fees in the contracts? Number two, how many homes and what types of properties do they manage? Number three, how many homes do they lease per month, and what are their average days on market? And number four, how quickly do they get your monthly rental proceeds to you? Homeowners have been asking us these questions for years, and that's why we manage tens of thousands of rental properties nationwide. As our clients can affirm, we eliminate the headaches, hassles, and challenges of being a landlord. So you now have a choice to make. You can spin your wheels, interviewing, researching, and pouring through hundreds of pages of legal documents with several companies, or you can hire the done-for-you, no headaches, no hassles, guaranteed services of Real Property Management. We know how stressful leasing and managing a home can be, and we know it takes a large, dedicated staff to manage your home effectively. We currently have tens of thousands of property owners who rest easy every night, knowing their properties are being professionally managed 24/7, 365 days a year. We have a customized plan to lease and manage your home. No trial and error, let's see how it goes attitude here. We will get your home leased quickly to qualified tenants and get the money to you in a timely fashion every month with the most accountable tracking system in the industry. We wouldn't have the client base that we do if we didn't deliver on our promises day in and day out. There are two ways to get in contact with us for your free, no obligation, in-home consultation to let you know what your property will rent for. Fill out the contact information form on this website and we'll call you back shortly, or just give us a call.
Okay, so sometimes adjusting the marketing a little bit. And then I think the biggest thing when a house isn't selling or you're not cash flowing is communication. Like communicating with the client. There's a lot of, I think, agents that are afraid of that hard conversation, especially if they've never had a market. That's tough.
It's tough.
But if you've been communicating on a weekly basis and showing everything that you're doing, like I have no problem having that conversation with my sellers. So I can say, look, we're working on this every single week. And it's not me, it's the market. It's not you, it's the market. It's just not there right now. How serious are you about your goals? Do you really need to make this next move? Otherwise, okay, maybe we take it off and start over, but then you miss a potential buyer that comes into the market at that time. Or do you adjust price? And we've had to do a couple of hard ones.
You've given us a couple properties that says, okay, we're gonna pull it off the market. We want to rent it, and then you get it back. In 2 years to sell it.
Went right back on the market. And because sometimes it's not the right market for them and they don't have enough equity and they're going to lose too much selling it. So rent it out if you're not going to be there. And then everybody wins at that point. Because I think the one point people make is they don't want to rent it out because they're worried their house is going to get trashed, right? I don't want to rent it out. They're going to ruin it. Well, if you have a good system and a good property manager that does the checks and all the background checks, you're minimizing as much risk as possible versus just picking some random person to move in. Like, we're not asking you to do that. We're not saying just pick some random person to move in. We're going to get a qualified person to come live in the property, hopefully care about the property as much as you do. And maybe they're in transition with their life. They're not going to rent forever, but they're looking for what they want to do.
Another thing we do, what I mentioned a while ago, inquiries. Whenever we do a market change or any kind of marketing, whether we lower price, get new pictures, whatever, we'll send out a e-blast to all of them. And that way they know, oh, wow, I like that property, but I didn't want to pay $1,500, but $1,400, I can do that. So it may trigger them to come back and look at it.
Yes. And even the smallest change, because the algorithms want to push new things out there. So even we'll just move around the order of the pictures on MLS because it gives the MLS something new to report because the pictures changed. We didn't really change. Or we'll virtually stage a photo or add a twilight. We'll just do something and then pair it with new language. And there's a lot of like little tweaks and techniques we can do.
Pets.
What about pets?
Whenever we go from a no pet situation to, okay, we're going to allow small pets.
Yes.
You make that announcement. We've gotten a couple tenants because of that.
Yeah, because a lot of times they do have a small dog.
They got rejected because we got a pet. So they moved on. Well, we brought them back in because
I wish I had a marketing tweak that you can now bring your dog. I wish I could say that. I don't get to say fun things like that. So adjusting the minutia, the variables that we have to kind of bring it back to life sometimes works. Also, as the seasons move along and rates might change, things will happen in the market. Like right now we're in early market. Every week that comes along, we are anticipating more people coming to market. Right. It's when you're at the end of the year and you're in winter and fall, it gets a little scarier because less are usually coming to market. So you really have to determine your adjustments based on the timing of the market as well. And you have to be able to refer back to historical data and go, look, just hold. That's why we've got some sellers like, just hold for another week.
The spring's probably the best.
Spring's coming, winter's summer's coming.
It's slower. I mean, it's good for both of us.
It is. It works really well. So then another thing is just being flexible about, like, we have a lot of owners that we need to just be open-minded and flexible about what's coming for them. If they didn't get the initial response they wanted, it's like, okay, here's all the things we're doing. Here's our plan. Here's our goal. Be open to what might come along. And a lot of times just being able to have them relax about that just makes everyone feel a little bit better. Because it does get a little strenuous for owners when it's not performing the way they wanted it to perform.
We use feedback, realtor feedback. Some of the stuff that we recommend, hey, we want to get rid of this or do this for the make-ready.
Yep.
They choose, well, I don't want to spend that. Says, okay, we'll take it off. But when you start getting a couple feedback saying such and such,
paint this,
maybe the paint or maybe the carpet, there's stains in the master bedroom carpet.
Yep.
Or primary bedroom
yes,
carpet.
Primary now.
Maybe there's a stain there, and we recommended carpet cleaning. And now that we got a couple feedbacks,
Which
they're
is
going to say, okay, let's go
mind blowing
clean it.
because the amount of money it is to invest in a carpet clean versus a full replacement
$200.
is so affordable.
You're
And
just taking one negative out of the
yes,
picture and making it more presentable.
yes, we try so hard to just deep clean carpets if we can, unless they're just original and fallen down. And like we have a situation with a very high end home that we're bringing to market, and everything about the home is amazing except the carpet is original, and they had pets, including cats. And it was like, I already can foresee the feedback about the carpet. And what we know about buyers is they don't know how much things cost. And even if we gave them a quote for carpet, they wouldn't believe it. And so a lot of sellers will go, well, can't we just give concession for carpet and they can pick their own carpet?
Right.
The buyers just cannot do that. Their imaginations are not there. Their patience is not there. They want a move-in ready house. And I can save so much money by investing in the new carpet than having to do a price reduction or carpet allowance later, because it's going to be double later.
Right.
And it was the one pushback that stopped us from having amazing response. Right. And luckily, they're on board with us and we're moving forward. But it was definitely a very tough conversation to have, because they, as owners, just couldn't see, because to them, they would prefer to pick out their own carpet. And everybody's different. But especially if someone has allergies, you want to get out as much pet dander as you can before you put the house on the market, because if someone's allergic to cats and they walk in that house and there's still old carpet, they're going to walk right back out. We've seen it. So it's each house is different. we do different things.
We have issues with owners who want to use their own vendors.
Ooh,
and
okay.
We have no control over them. And once the vendor completes the job, so to speak, I'll go walk the property and I'll give them a new punch list. They didn't do this, this, and this. And we have to send vendors back multiple times. And we tell the owners, you're paying each time for them to go back.
Right.
If you would have used our vendors, we
they
could have done
done
the first time, do it right the first time. Because our vendors know you gotta get it done.
They know your quality of work,
right.
And they know that you're going to send them more if they do a great job too. That's the other part. Yep. Like we have partnerships with our vendors, so that blows my mind. That just blows my mind. And why would you want to coordinate that anyways? If you're offloading everything,
to a point on one property, I'm ready to get rid of it because the
just so much.
Owner doesn't want to pay for anything. He wants to do it cheap with his own people,
and that's just. There's a time and a place for that, but when it's a competitive market and you're trying to get as many, you can't. You really can't. And it's a tough conversation to have. But I mean, we have the same conversations with some sellers. Like, we won't take an overpriced listing. We're not going to. I invest too much upfront of my own money to get this to market. If I can tell that you're not going to take our advice and move forward with us, we might not be the best fit to work with you.
Got rid of one of those potential properties just today.
Oh gosh. But it frees you up to work with people who do want to work with you. That's the biggest thing. So there's a couple of different things that you can do if you're not cash flowing or you're not selling. A lot of times the first thing is price. The second time, sometimes it's just timing of the market. Sometimes it's condition that you can maybe adjust if you have the time. And then it just comes down to how serious is everybody at that point. Because if you really truly, I've taken two tire kicker sellers in my whole career, and I regretted it both times because they were not motivated to move. And we did all the things and even got offers for them, and they still didn't accept them because it wasn't exactly what they wanted. And it was really tough because we had lost all that time, the marketing. It hurts my stats. I like my stats. Yep. We brag about our stats. So it was really tough. So we've also just learned that lesson too, that if the seller is just trying to test the market, we're probably not the best fit for that either. We want to work with sellers who want to get to the finish line. And if you're not as invested as we are,
they're there to make money. It's not to.
But it's just, I want to achieve the goal.
Like with property.
Yeah. And we're not playing open house with everybody's house.
Yeah.
But you live and learn, and that's how we build our processes. And each time we use our previous experience to build our process even better the next time. And it just gets better and stronger. And so then we have less of these conversations.
Right.
But sometimes the market shifts right underneath your nose and you don't know because we won't know for 30 days. And then we look back, we're like, that's why it was so hard.
Yep. Yep.
The market was shifting under our nose. Like we try to stay in it every week. We do Every Monday at 9 a.m., I screenshot the Collin County stats of what has happened in the last 7 days, and I send it to our team. And we just look, and we've had more price reductions than homes on the market for like 18 months now. That's showing the shift. And then the closings are down. Like, so we can watch it on a weekly basis at least, so that when the stats come out 30 days later, 60 days later, it's not as shocking. But not every agent's doing that. Right. They're not paying attention to that kind of stuff. Right. They're just excited to get that one part-time sale to walk in your house, or the friend who's like, or the residential listing agent who decides to lease it or list it for lease. I can't get over how many times I have friends that are, or just other agents are like, oh, I'm going to put this house up for lease for one of my friends. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to do it for them. And I go, you don't realize the intricacies of what you have. You have to run different comps. You have to get it ready. You got to do background checks and employment history and treat everybody fairly. And there's more pages of paperwork for less. It doesn't make sense to me to one-off it. So if you're coming across an agent who's going to do you a one-time favor, it's probably not a one-time favor. No. I'll just caution that.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we're going to end on that because we definitely covered a lot. Unless you have any other last minutes.
Talk about refinancing.
Refinancing
for talking to an owner, they're not getting the return that they're thinking they should. We always offer refinancing.
For cash flow.
To try to improve their cash flow.
Okay.
To make it more worthwhile of listing it.
Interesting.
That's the last point before we say, you need to call Savannah.
Okay.
You're going to sell it.
Okay.
So that's another item that we kick in every once in a while.
Yeah, that never really works on our end, but I could definitely see how that could work with your end. Even with the rates, with the adjustments? Well, they probably had a higher rate anyways when they first got it.
They probably had a real high rate.
Yeah,
they still got it.
Because they had an investment property.
And now
they're
the
a little
rates are coming down.
Yep.
So it could
refly and give them. So then they can accept a lower monthly rate because their cash flow isn't hurt as bad.
Right.
Huh, I like that. That wasn't even in my... That's why you do what you do. All right, we're ending on that.